Hello. First, I'd like to thank you for taking time out today to join us. My name is Cherry Dale, and I'm the Financial Education Director with Virginia Credit Union. I know right now is a time of upheaval for many of us, especially when it comes to our finances. The topic we're going to cover today is 5 steps to protect yourself financially from the impact of coronavirus. And of course, the coronavirus is impacting all Americans in different ways. And when it comes to your finances, I think it's especially important to focus in on what you can control versus what you can't. So in today's webinar, we're going to cover 5 steps that you can take to get control of where you are financially. And I know for different people, I mean, some of you might be dealing with some income loss or potential income loss, so it might be in crisis mode as well. But again, we're going to concentrate on what we can control and make a plan for that. The first thing that we're going to focus in on is our income or our assets. So I want you to think about and pull a list together of all of your current assets. Now, when we think of assets, we can think of things that we can get quickly. So those might be what we consider liquid assets. And then other assets might be tied up where we can't gain access to those as quickly, but it's important to have a list of everything written down in one place so you can kind of gauge your overall income and economic picture. So when we think of liquid assets, you want to look at your checking account and savings account, things that you can access quickly where there are not fees or anything associated with that. You want that big picture. Now, if you are in partnership or relationship with somebody where you share expenses, it would be important for you to sit down with that significant other and do these things together so you can truly gain an overall picture of where your family is. So you understand, okay, I have this much in my checking, this much in my savings to start off with. And then you want to pull in what other accounts you have. Some of you might have a 401k or an individual retirement account. And as I'm sure many of you are aware of, the stock market has been going crazy since all of this has happened with the coronavirus, and we've seen a huge impact and decline in stocks overall. So I would tell you, if you are feeling panicked about your 401k or an IRA or other types of investments, now would be a very good time to make an appointment over the phone with your financial planner or with the organization that is in charge of your investments. Many times, especially if you have a 401k, your employer has partnered with an investment firm to provide you with those investments, and they would have partners within that organization to help you manage your money. Maybe you've already taken advantage of meeting with a financial planner, but it is definitely something that I would encourage you to do. And what that financial planner is really going to do is sit down and look at your overall timeline. You know, if you are very close to retirement, that action is going to probably look a little bit different versus if I've got retirement in coming in 10 to 20 years from now. So you want to have that conversation, especially if you are feeling anxiety about your 401k or your investments. Now, other savings venues or asset accounts that you might have money in would be the CDs or savings certificates. Keep in mind, these types of accounts, your money is locked in for a certain amount of time. So you want to look and see how long that money is locked in, because if you were to pull the money out of a CD or savings certificate right now, you could get feed for that. And so you just want to know when the money would become available without fees and kind of set a plan around that. But ultimately, you want this big picture. Now, some of you might be struggling when it comes to this income, and perhaps many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So you might be worried about, okay, yeah, this month I've had enough to cover everything, but next month I'm not going to. So if you're in that specific mode, we'll cover kind of what you need to do that as well, because income's not going to be such an influencer there. Um, right now, I'm taping this particular webinar March 20th, and Congress is in session, kind of debating on some economic stimulus plans. Nothing has been set in stone, but it could be, if everything goes through, potentially the government might be able to help supplement income in 3 to 4 weeks. But who knows? That is all still up in the air. And I would not depend on that at this point until everything has officially been passed through. So you have a good idea of your overall picture of your immediate assets. Then you're going to look at your expenses and your debt. And as you're doing this, it's important to prioritize your major um, debt or expenses first. And what I mean by that, each family is going to be different, but ultimately, it's about your family unit. And so it's really important, of course, that you have housing put in place, that you're able to, have utilities, electric, gas, water, all of those basic things are, put in place so you can be able to pay those. So when you're thinking about which things you need to prioritize, I would definitely prioritize your housing needs first. You might be to the point where you have multiple debt with multiple lenders, and it's a little overwhelming to even think about. One of the things I would suggest you to do is to pull your credit report. We suggest our members go to www.annualcreditreport.com, and you can get your credit report for free from all three of the credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. When you pull your report, it is going to show you exactly what debt is out there, what your minimum payment is, who holds the debt, etc. So it really gives you a kind of a quick snapshot of what your loan or debt portfolio looks like, and what the credit bureaus are holding information on you. Now, obviously, there's other ways to pull that type of information. You can pull them directly from your statements, or maybe from last month, you have your statements or bills from there, or online. Many credit card companies, almost all credit card companies, you can access your accounts online as well. So you're listing out all of your debt, and you're also listing who holds the debt and the contact information behind that. You want to have the exact phone numbers of the lender or the entity that holds the debt if you're going to communicate with them. You want to highlight which expenses you can do without. So, things that perhaps you spent money on last month that you could do without this month moving forward. Yes, that's great. So you can pull those kind of out of your spending plan and really concentrate on the things that are the most important for you and your family. You want to calculate all of the most important expenses. So you want to have a specific number that you know you need to absolutely meet at the end of each month, at the end of March, or you can pull it together as you're looking at April as well. So you're looking at that income and those expenses and seeing what type of discrepancy there is between the two, if there is any. Now, if you are to the point then where, oh my goodness, I cannot pay all of these bills, my income has decreased, I'm in panic mode, the worst thing you can do is just do nothing. We really want to encourage you to reach out to the lenders if you cannot pay your bills. If it's a credit card, mortgage, car note, whatever it is, it's very important that you communicate with your lien holder or your lender, um, where you are, your situation. If you can afford to pay anything on it, do so. And if you cannot, um, try to make a plan around that. If you just do nothing, more than likely you're going to get feed. It's just going to add up quickly. A lot of times, especially in today's environment, the lender will want to work with you and develop a plan, and perhaps not, you won't be charged as many fees as you would if you just did nothing. So again, it's really important if you're to the point where you cannot pay those bills that you contact the lender and set up a plan with the lender. And this slide just shows you what things that you would need to be prepared to speak with the lender about. So your situation, what you can afford. If you're looking at mortgages, be prepared to discuss your income, expenses, and assets as well. They're going to want a really big picture of your overall finances. So we've gathered our assets, we know our expenses, we've calculated how much we need exactly, we know what we can pay, what we can't pay, what we cannot pay. We are contacting those lenders. If you have a student loan, the White House just announced this last week that there's going to be a freeze on interest for student loans. So specifically, there hasn't been a huge amount of details on this, but I will say these would apply to government-backed student loans. So if you have a private student loans, there's no guarantee that this interest freeze is going to apply to those. But if you're to the point where you cannot make those student loans payments, again, it's very important to contact your lender or the loan holder of those student loans and get into a deferred payment program, etc. If you do nothing, it's just going to be, you're going to be charged fees. It's going to hurt your credit. But if you can contact your student loan provider, they can hopefully work out some sort of deferred payment or delayed payment program or even reduced payment. And then you can also talk to them about this freeze of interest on your student loans. But again, communication is the key point here. We want you to be very aware of potential scams that are going on. Scammers are using this coronavirus as an opportunity to really dig into consumers' anxieties, and they're taking advantage of that. So you want to be super cautious about giving out any type of personal information. And this is why in the previous slide, I told you to list out all of your lenders or whomever holds your debt and the contact information specifically around that so you can contact them directly. You never want to respond to an email with any type of personal information. Even phone calls, they're coming after you to get personal information on the phone call. I would not give that out. Hang up, then call directly. If it's Virginia Credit Union, call us directly, or whomever the lender is. You would have that phone number versus them calling you. So watch out for emails claiming to be from the CDC. You want to go directly to those websites to get the most accurate information. The FTC has listed potential scams. If you just Google FTC coronavirus scams, it'll take you to that link. There's a link on this slide as well at the bottom, but there's all sorts of scams out there. People saying, oh, we've got the vaccination cure, or wanting you to donate to specific things. Now, again, nothing wrong with donating to causes. People are in need. Businesses are in need and need continued support from the community and donations. You just want to make sure whatever you're donating to is legitimate. And of course, be hyper alert of, quote, investment opportunities. You want to make sure that you're working with an investment company that is, well known and part of, Better Business Bureau, is, is very legitimate. Just don't click on links that you don't know where they are coming from. So I cannot emphasize this enough. Please beware of those potential scams. Finally, you want to develop a plan for yourself and your family. Create a spending plan, create a budget. If you go to Virginia Credit Union's website, www.vacu.org, and if you search for budget up in the corner, it's going to bring up a lot of budgeting information, and there's a budget sheet there as well. I would also be happy to email you a budget Excel sheet that we send to our members. My email is Cherry, Cherry, dot Dale, Dale, at vacu.org. I'm happy to send that spreadsheet out. But you want to have an overall spending plan right now. And right now, most families are not going out and spending lots of money except perhaps at the grocery store or at Target or different places like that to get, the basic necessities for your family. But I would tell you, even going into the grocery store or other places, you need to have a set amount that you are intending to spend before you even walk in, especially if you're on this limited income. So put some guidelines around, make a list, and get those things that you need the most when you go to the grocery store. It's going to save you some money. Now, if you're a member of Virginia Credit Union, you have access to one-on-one financial coaching over the phone, and I'm going to show you how you can access that here in a minute. If you lose your income or your income is reduced, this is where you would want to go. You want to go to the Virginia Employment Commission to get started on unemployment claim, and they can help walk you through that. You can do it over the phone or online as well. And again, you want to meet with your financial planner. So especially when you're looking at your investments, to make sure that you're optimizing everything and that they are meeting your needs when it comes to your overall retirement and investment plans. As I mentioned in the last slide, if you are a member of Virginia Credit Union, you have access to financial coaching through Balance. Balance is a service that Virginia Credit Union partners with, and it's free to our members, where you can call this toll-free number, 888-456-2227, to talk with a financial counselor that can really take some time to counsel you through and give you specific suggestions and guidelines for your particular situation. Again, it's very important that you concentrate on what you can control. And with these 5 steps, these are things you have tangible control of when it comes to your finances. You can do these and then take all of that information and meet with a financial coach or meet with your own financial planner to look at what your next steps are. It's important that you do reach out and contact your lenders if you cannot make those payments as well. I hope that you found this information helpful. Virginia Credit Union cares about you and your family during this time, and we know it can be a very stressful time when it comes to your finances. If you have questions or any other thoughts or suggestions, please feel free to email me, or if you have follow-up comments as well. Again, my email is cherry.dale@vacu.org. And I wish you and your family well during this time of, uncertainty, but know that your credit union is here to help you, and that we are only a phone call away. And many of the things that you can do that to help with your finances through your banking needs, you can utilize our online portal, online banking, and app as well. I just deposited a check the other day through my online app to where I didn't have to go in to the branch or be exposed to anything. So the more you can move everything to online, the better you're going to be. Again, thank you so much for your time today, and I wish you well.